This problem is from Geisecke Technical Drafting, 15th edition, Chapter 6, Exercise 6.5-1. This exercise comes from page 266 of Geisecke Technical Drafting, 15th edition. If you have an earlier version, it has been the same for more than 20 years, so you can find it somewhere within the book, usually chapter 4, 5, or 6. And so I'm going to start out by turning on the visibility of the origin planes. And on the view cube, I'll go to the front view, and I'm going to then right click on the XY plane and select Create Sketch. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to start that rectangle at the origin. So I'll make sure that I snap to the origin. I'm going to go down to the lower right corner. Then I'm going to dimension the width of this rectangle, and I'm going to do that in the book. It's 7 blocks. If each block is 10 millimeters, so that is 70 millimeters. And for the height of this, I'm going to do that as 30 millimeters. Then I'm going to do a second rectangle, and I'm going to do that rectangle from about right here over to about right there. Now I could have done 1, 2, 3 lines instead of the rectangle, but actually the rectangle is just 2 picks, 1 pick here, 1 pick here, until it's a fewer number of clicks. And so then I'm going to dimension the distance from here over to here, and I'll put in that dimension as 10 millimeters. I'll dimension this distance from here to here at 15 millimeters, and I'll dimension this distance from here to here also as 15 millimeters. Okay, I see that my sketch, all the lines turn black. It's fully constrained. I don't need any additional dimensions or horizontal or vertical constraints. I'm going to go ahead and finish this sketch. And I'm going to go around to isometric view so I can see this at an angle. And I'm going to then start a new sketch on the top plane, and so I'll right click, I'll tell it create a new sketch. And again, I'm going to draw a rectangle. I'm going to draw it from this point right here, and I'm going to draw it about like that. I have my rectangle sketched out. I'm then going to do a coincident constraint between this corner and this corner on the first sketch. And then I will dimension the distance along here, and that's a distance of 40. It all turns black. It's fully constrained. I'll go to the top view of this, and I'll continue sketching, and I'm going to draw another rectangle from this corner over about like that, and then I'll put 2 circles in here. I'll draw a circle about like that and a circle about like that. I then need to dimension the distance from this line over to here, and I'm going to do that dimension as 40, and then I'm going to do the dimension from here to here, a distance of 15. I'm then going to dimension the diameter of one of these circles. I'll dimension that as 10. And I also need to dimension the location. Notice that circle is blue right now. If I dimension the vertical height of that circle, and I'll dimension that as 10. And then I'm going to dimension the horizontal distance from here over to the center of the circle, and I'll do that as 25. Notice it turns black now. It's that position and size is fully defined. And so I'll dimension the vertical height of this circle as 30, and then the distance horizontally from here over to here is 40. I've already put that dimension in here, so I'll make this point coincident with this line. So I'll do coincident, this point is along that line, or coincident with that line. And then this circle is the same size as that one, so I'll do equal, make this circle the same size as this one. And everything turns black, it's all fully constrained. I'll finish that sketch. So if I rotate around, I see that I have sketched out the front view of the block of material and the top view, and then I'll create my geometry. Now I'm going to drag the timeline back so that only the first sketch, so I'm going to extrude this portion of it, of that first sketch. So let's put this back where we can see the second sketch. Now I'm going to do extrude. I'll select this area as the area that I want to extrude. I want to go back to this point on my second sketch. I need to make my second sketch visible again, and so I'll do extrude again. This time I'm going to select inside this circle, and inside this rectangle, and I'm going to end up cutting through the object. And so for the distance, I'll tell it to go all the way through the object. I'll say OK to that. And I can hide my sketches by clicking on the light bulb. I'll also turn off the visibility of the origin planes. So that completes the creation of the 3D geometry of Chapter 6, Section 5, Problem 1. I now want to create a 2D drawing to document this design, and so I will go to the drawing drop down, and I'll select from design, and I will tell it that I want to create a new drawing, and my template, I don't have a template. I'm going to use that ASME standard. My units are millimeters, and I'm going to do an A size. I'll then place my first drawing view, and I'm going to change that scale to 1:1. I'll say OK to that, and then I'm going to project the top view off of the front view. I'll project the right side view over, and I'm going to put an isometric view up here. I'll right click and I'll say OK to create those views. I will then go through and detail my drawing by adding center marks and the dimensions. You can move the views around on the sheet of paper to make the drawing aesthetically pleasing. And so let me move these over a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go to the center marks, and I'm going to select this circle. I'll select that circle to place my center marks, and then I'll do center line. I'll do a center line between those two lines. Now there's a center line between this line and this line, but it would be in the same location as that object line, which would be confusing. So the object line takes precedence, so I'll just skip over that one. A center line between here and here, center line between here and here. And then I'll go through and put my dimensions in. So I'm going to dimension the overall width of this part is 70, and so I'll put that dimension in. This distance is 15, this distance is 10. Then I have this distance from here down to here is 15, and I need the distance from front to back of the part, and that distance is 40. I need to dimension the size of one of these holes from this circle, or from that line over to the center of that circle. A dimension from the center of the circle over to this line, and that is 10. Also need the vertical height from this circle over to that line, and that distance is 30. And I need the distance from here over to here. And that distance is 40, and then the distance here is 25. Or I could dimension from here to here. Alright, I have the dimensions on here. I now want to move dimensions around a little bit, make it look aesthetically pleasing. I might move this entire view down just a bit, and then I'm going to move this dimension up a little bit, and I'm going to put this one towards the inside. I might move this one up a little bit, that one down a little bit. Okay,